Hello everybody, we're getting ready to do lesson 3.3 part 1 of our Algebra 2 course suite. Contact me here if you need part 2 and part 3s of any of the previous lessons and I can get that out to you. 3.3 part 1, we've got a 30-point skill sheet at the end of part 1. And then there's 11 points here of note-taking. If you need note-taking guides, get a hold of me. Okay, teachers, here is our bell work here. I give your students 5 minutes to do these two radicals here, simplify these radical expressions. Okay, welcome back. Students, you should be simplified over these radicals by now. Here's number 1 here, so we have the cube root of both these expressions. And then we use our radical property here of quotients. And then we factor out a cube from each one of these exponents here. Y2 to the third power, x5 to the third power. And then these cancel here, the cube root, and these cancel. We end up with this expression here. Now for the bottom here, this is our original here, and then we separate this denominator out by these two expressions here. So this comes out to 5 times x to the 5x to the 8th here from the square root of this here. So this is actually 16 over 2 here as an exponent. This is a square, so it'll be 5x to the 8th in the denominator, and then we have the cube root of x and x to the 5 over 2 power. So we add these two here, we get x to the 17 over 6 power in the numerator. That's what it looks like as a radical form here. And then it's to the 6th power, so we factor out a 6 from our 17 here times this x squared to the 6th power, x to the 5th. And then those cancel, your radical goes away. We have x squared now times radical x to the 5th to the 6th root over 5x to the 8th. And then this power here, we use the quotient power of exponents, x to the 2 minus 8 over 5 with the 6th root of this. And then we have x to the negative 6, 6th root of that. And then see, that would be over the 6th power here. Then the 6th root of x to the 5th over 5x to the 6th. This flips down here because of the negative exponent. And then this is our finished product here. Okay, so perform function operations in composition. We've done this before. Okay, operations on functions, any two functions here. So this is a table here for adding and subtracting and multiplying and dividing functions. And then here are examples with the integers plugged in. The domain of H consists of x values that are in the domains of both f and g. Additionally, the domain of a quotient does not include x values for which g of x equals 0. It's just one stipulation. Power functions. You've studied several types of functions, linears, quadratics, and polynomials. Now another type is a power function, which is this form here, y equals ax to the b, where a is a real number. And students, now in your own words, define power function. So add and subtract functions. We're going to add and subtract these. Find the following, f of x plus g of x. So when we add these two together, we get negative 5x to the 1/2 power. Then f of x minus g of x. So we subtract the g of x from f of x, and then we get 13x to the 1/2. This is kind of a very cumbersome way that they do this. Basically, it's just 4x to the 1/2 minus 9x to the 1/2. Okay, and then part C of this, domains of f plus g and f minus g. Functions of f and g each have the same domain, all non-negative real numbers. So the domains of f plus g and f minus g also consist of all non-negative reals. Okay, here is a guided practice. Here are our two functions here. Find the following. So we're going to add these two. Then students, here's yours down here. You're going to subtract g of x from f of x. So to do our guided practice here, we just add these two together, and we put our coefficients within the same bracket, all to the 2/3 power, and we get this expression here. Okay, multiply and divide functions now. Here are our two functions. We're going to multiply them together, and we come up with this expression here, and we get 6x to the 7/4 using the product of powers property there. And then we're going to divide f of x by g of x, so we substitute in here. We use a quotient property of exponents, and we come up with 6x to the 4th power. Multiply and divide now. Here are our two functions. Find the following. The domains of f times g and f over g. So domain consists of all reals, and domain of g consists of all non-negative real numbers here for g. So the domain of f and g consists of all non-negative reals. G of 0 would equal 0. Domain of f and g is restricted to all positive real numbers because we don't want a 0 in our denominator. Okay, our first guided practice here of that concept. We're going to multiply these together. Students, you're going to divide these. So multiplying these two together here, we get 3x times x to the 1/5 power. We use our product of powers property here of exponents, and we get 3x to the 6/5 power. If you want part 2 and part 3 of this lesson, email me here. Thank you.